pleasure for me to welcome you all to a new agenda seminar. My name is Aslaksen, and I am Dean at the Art and Craft Department at the Oslo National Academy of Art. Agenda is a series of seminars aiming at highlighting perspectives and explore topics relevant to the Art and Craft Department's broad scope of art practices. These seminars aims at providing a thought-provoking mixture of topics that encourage further discussions and strengthens the department's critical reflection about art, culture and society. The seminars are directed towards the students, but everyone, students and staff and others, are welcome to join. Our ambition is to facilitate for lectures and discussions related to the field of medium and material-based art and with highly relevance to a broad public. Today we will not focus upon a person like Brecht or Benjamin, and nor on a more general topic as supervising, but on a very hot theoretical perspective, namely new materialism. New materialism is a term ascribed to a range of not only contemporary perspectives in the arts, but also in the humanities and social sciences. But what they have in common is a theoretical and practical turn to matter. This theoretical turn has a lot of consequences for the way we understand established dichotomies and relationships like human, non-human, and mind and matter. Personally, I find this theoretical turn both inspiring, fascinating, and in some ways problematic. So I do look forward to this agenda today. And the program today has been developed in collaboration between Norwegian Crafts and the Art and Craft Department with Lotte Konnovlund at Oslo National Academy of the Arts. To present today's program and introduce the speakers, I will give the floor to Knut Astrup and André Gali. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see a packed house. Just a short or brief introduction. I think the word brief is appropriate. I would just say a few words about how this book came about, and it was very much a response to developments in both contemporary art and contemporary craft. Over the last 10 decades, we've seen visual artists take a more keen interest in materials and craft techniques. And on the other hand, the development within contemporary craft has been quite dramatical if you take into account the last 20 years. For instance, all the many of the academies, applied art academies, has merged with art academies, for instance. This has, of course, changed education programs. And also, not least, many contemporary artists are working much more with a conceptual approach to the field. So, consequently, contemporary craft works and fine art works are more alike in many ways and have many similarities and share some common ground. But on the other hand, what happens to contemporary craft objects when they are in the same setting or share the same gallery space as fine art? Still, I think it's within fine art discourse, there's still a tendency, one of the core elements is dualism. And dualism, shortly explained, is often concepts that are mirrored in a negative way. For instance, within art, it's either it's art or it's everyday life, or put another way, it's either art or not. So our aim was not to say that in any way it's wrong to read contemporary craft objects within contemporary art field, but rather what is getting lost if we read craft within a dualistic system. So we challenge, André and I, we challenge a few writers to take another approach, to look at or interpret craft objects within the tradition of materialism or material aesthetics, which not recognize, for instance, the division between everyday life and art. And we also encourage them to look at materialism in a new light, to bring materialism up to speed. So please, André.
So this is the book that Knut talked about. That was kind of the starting point for this conversation that we're continuing with this seminar today. The book will be available for purchase in the bookshop if you want to have a copy after. The seminar is a continuation of this investigation into new materialism that we initiated with this book, and we're very happy that Oslo National Academy of the Arts wanted to collaborate with us on this topic, and that we could invite a selection of artists and theorists to shed light on new materialism through their work. I will thank you, Lotte and Ellen, for this opportunity. So the perspectives that we're going to meet today or hear from today are quite diverse, from art jewelry, textile art, ceramics, as well as curating and philosophy. And we will start with the philosophical scope. Just after this short introduction, Jan Overweg will take us through what is new in new materialism and give us some tools to understanding this philosophical perspective. After that, at approximately 11 o'clock, we'll hear from Britta Marakatlaba about her embroidery works. Britta Marakatlaba should be known for most of you, as she was in Documenta in 2017 with her 24-meter embroidery work, Historia, which was commissioned by the Arctic University in Tromsø some years ago, and which tells the story of the history and the mythology of the Sami people, and is now on display in Queen Sonja's art stable, and in an exhibition which is actually entitled from this work called Historia. After we have heard from Britta, we will have a lunch break for an hour, and then after lunch we will start at 12:30 with Reinhold Ziegler. He uses materials embedded with history as central elements in art jewelry, whether it is meteorites that have been traveling through space for millions of years, or tools shaped and used by humans during the Stone Age. So we will learn about the different kinds of material histories, I guess, through his presentation. And at approximately 1 o'clock, craft theorist and curator Stephen Knott will give us some example of curating that derives from a material perspective. And Knott was the curator for Tendenser 2018. 2018. Give it time at Gallery F15, and he will discuss the topic in light of this exhibition. And his the publication for that exhibition is also available in the bookstore today. And last, and of course not least, we will hear from Marte Lise Stamrud, who would show some of her works, and she has been through a fascinating transition from emphasis on photography works to a more playful and bodily engagement with clay and various takes on archetypical forms from the applied arts. I think in a way this perspective can stand as a metaphor from the new materialistic turn that we are witnessing, because while postmodernisms like Jean Baudrillard would discuss the world in terms of images and signs, Now several philosophers are discussing what constitutes as an object, what is materiality and the material world, do objects have agencies, and what is the role of the subject or the human perspective in today's thinking.